we'll have to sort of wait and see what they're going to bring today. And for now, at least, it's time for us to focus back in on the first match of the day, which is Pacific Macta and Carahouse. And we'll jump into the map picks and bans.
Looks like Carahouse is going to have that first ban here, quickly banning Eagle Eye right off the table. No big surprises here. Pacific, I'm not sure what their go-to ban would be here. I would guess probably something like Mexico, but they're also a team that could probably bring it out if they needed to. So if they have it prepared, it could be something else maybe that they just want to ban out against this Carahouse team, maybe a stronger map from them. But no, it is going to be Mexico, so kind of the standard bans on both sides. But Carahouse, they're going to get the first pick here overall.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the stats. Did seem like they were pretty confident on subbase against this team specifically. Will they pick that, or will they go for a deeper kind of comfort pick? Curious to see. Well, there it is. The subbase is going to come out. Will Pacific Macta respond with the compounds, or will it be something else?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because last time they played it was Ankara Black Widow was actually the map pool. Ankara chosen by Pacific Macta, and Carahouse went for Black Widow with subbase as the decider. So, you know, if that's something that's maybe playing in the minds of Pacific Macta, I think potentially Black Widow, like they looked like they could definitely have beaten Carahouse on that map. It was 13-11. Obviously, they didn't get it over the line. I would be a bit surprised to see Ankara, though that, as we saw on the stats, has kind of been a bit of a 50-50 map for them. Look, the obvious choice here would be Compound, just looking at the stats and looking at that 3-0 record that Pacific Macta have against Carahouse on that one. But yeah, like I think Black Widow or Compound is probably what I'd be expecting out of Pacific Macta here. Just seems like those are going to be the maps that Carahouse look a little bit more susceptible on. Maybe we'll find ourselves with Ankara as the decider if both teams are pretty comfortable on that one. I think if Compound is not picked here, then that's surely the first ban in the next phase from Carahouse.
Yeah, I think that would make the most sense here for them if Compound is somehow left still on the table to ban it out. But I feel like Pacific, just given some of their history on Black Widow, it could be a strong choice for them. Carahouse is a little bit shaky on it as well, so I think that could still be a strong pick, but it does leave them a little bit susceptible to maybe a weaker map 3 for themselves in this pool. But they are going to pick Black Widow here, so definitely a strong choice from both teams right out of the gate. But now this is the tough question for Carahouse. Do they want to risk leaving that Compound on the table and play it safe, or you know, maybe they have something different for us here?
Well, what are the other options anyway? Like, what else would you potentially want to ban here if you're Carahouse? Like, I think you're kind of happy with Ankara as an option. Port is the other map, so...
Do you ever feel like banning Port instead and seeing, like, what Pacific Macta wants to play on? Either between Compound and Ankara, and just kind of leave it up and say, okay, we've prepared for Compound, we've got you on this one this time.
I guess that would be the mind game, right? It's like, well, yeah, if we're going to leave Compound open in the pool, you're sort of more or less throwing the gauntlet down to Pacific Macta to say, yeah, you can choose the map that you've 3-0'd us on, but there's a chance we've got something prepared.
Seems like a pretty good idea, yeah. Well, there's the Port ban.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is the mind game. So what does Pacific Macta want to go for is the big question that we now have to ask ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like they almost have to go for a ban on Ankara here and leave Compound on the table. I feel like for them it's probably the best pool to pull off here, but they could have some mind games ready to go the other way around, but it is going to be Compound left on the table here. So I would say overall in the bans and picks, I actually think Pacific maybe got the better of it a little bit here in getting that Compound and Black Widow to go their way. And subbase, even though historically it is very strong for Carahouse, it's a map that they're pretty strong on their end as well, and they get the blacklist side first, which as we saw yesterday played to be a pretty nice advantage. And on Black Widow as well, they'll have the BL side, which is also usually a little bit more favored there. So even though I did pick Carahouse here, I like what Pacific's done in this ban pick a little bit more.
Yeah, and wasn't Subbase the map where they went 13-11? That was like the really close one from Vietnam.
That was Black Widow. Subbase was the decider map in that series that they didn't end up playing. But if it would have gone the way of Pacific Macta on that Black Widow.
We could have a really close couple of first maps here.
I think so.
Really go either way, I'd say. Don't get fooled by the predictions. We might just all be predicting one team because it's like 55-45, right? Like we have to choose one team. But certainly we do think that this matchup should be closer than a lot of the matchups we've seen so far.
Look, my gut feeling is that I think Carahouse probably does win Subbase here. And then for me, it's like Black Widow is like a bit of a 50-50. If I remember that Vietnam game correctly, which, look, it was a while ago, and a lot of those games do blend into one, so maybe I'm not, but I want to say, I think actually there was a point where it really looked like Carahouse was just going to win that one clean, and then Pacific Macta like brought it back, and it came into OT, and then again like Pacific Macta wasn't quite able to clutch up in the end, and Carahouse kind of just got it over the line. But yeah, obviously a very, very competitive map there, so that's kind of why I feel like there's a world definitely on Black Widow where I can see both teams walking away with the dub, but in my gut feeling again is, like I said, I think Carahouse probably looked pretty stable on sub base with that 3-0 record. And again, if we did get through to compound, then you have to sort of maybe give that benefit of the doubt to Pacific Macta as well. It's just really just a question of how much preparation have both these teams put in on those maps that they've been losing.
Yeah, I think this one was such a wild card for me because I think both of these teams have a lot of consistency issues, and for me, kind of the key matchup I'm looking here in this one is going to be Revenge versus Rambo, because on their best days, this could be a crazy match to see unfold, and they both bring a high level to the table, but neither one of them in recent years has been kind of firing on all cylinders all of the time, and that's what I think makes this one such an interesting series as well, is I don't think we're going to see the same team from each of these sides map to map even.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I do think that they're both very inconsistent. The play style that Carahouse and the Vietnamese teams brings tends to lead in that direction as well. So not only are you looking at whether or not the individuals are performing well, but you're also sort of questioning whether or not the strategy is actually going to come into play as well and favor them or not. Also, I always find it interesting how the Vietnamese teams wear their headsets.
It's very unique. I'm not sure.
They don't want to mess up their hair.
I guess that's the main reason. I don't see any other advantage you gain by wearing it like that, or by the mic being kind of in a semicircular fashion over the top. But yeah, pretty funny. I believe he was one of the first guys to actually wave to the camera as well. So that's kind of cool.
I will say those Vietnamese players, like, they do generally, I think, have as a general rule, have the best hair game of any of the players, like, because they've always got like the spiky hair or like the fade or the colors or whatever. Sometimes the Chinese players have like a little bit going on, like I rate a couple of them.
Brazil's had a couple of moments too where like everybody's gone blonde, you know, and had varying different styles, but yeah, I feel like generally Crossfire players have some pretty good hair game actually.
Yeah, a lot of drip going on. I've always wondered if I should, like, what do you guys reckon? Should I like fade or go blonde? Do you reckon I could pull it off?
Maybe the blondes.
Just the blonde, straight blonde. Should I? If I did that, would I have to do my eyebrows as well? Because it always looks a bit funny when you don't.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't do it.
You don't reckon? Okay. Well, it looks like we're about to get into the game. Everyone's just getting sorted on the stage. Comfort levels seem to be pretty good. You can see the little strap book there for Carahouse. It's a very what's the word? It's a familiar territory for Pacific Macta, or at least for the majority of this roster. They've been to, well, yeah, like how many CFS Grand Finals at this point? Probably
too many.
7 or 8. They rarely miss out.
Yeah, I feel like I can't think of too many times where we didn't see Pacific as the team from the Philippines. Almost every other region's had a lot of back and forth fighting for that spot, but I think out of the decade, they've maybe missed 2, which is pretty insane if you think about it.
Yeah, very high level of consistency coming through.
Yeah, still waiting to get this one on the road. Subbase was the map yesterday we saw that went to 25 rounds, right? It was the first map.
Yeah.
And it went all the way to the golden round. I mean, that's not a very common thing to happen, but also to have it happen in the first map of the entire tournament of 11 days is pretty unique. And I think it's generally a pretty fun map. I think there's a lot of movement. You can go for a lot of fun, fast rotations. Like even from the GR side, trying to like take over the control room or trying to push up the stairs into a road or something like that. There's a lot of fun maneuvers you can go for. So I hope we get like a really fun, action-packed game here.
Yeah, I was actually a bit worried yesterday. I was thinking, okay, first game's going to go to a golden point, a golden round. But we'll see how things change up today. We're ready to get into game 4, game number 1 of day 2. It is Pacific Macta and Carahouse. And we'll be kicking things off on sub base. It's the map choice of Carahouse. They've won it 3 times in a row against Pacific Macta, and Pacific Macta, of course, trying to break that trend here on the biggest of stages.
All right, here we go. Map number 1. We can see them ready to kick it off here. Pacific starting on the BL side of things. They're already going to be setting up for a quick control room take here. Nice flash over the top to get it started. Meanwhile, Carahouse playing pretty safe in this opening round, very reserved towards the B bomb site. Only one player. It's going to be Lucas holding that A solo right now. But Pacific, they're just kind of filtering across the map, trying to figure out what this defensive setup's going to look like, because Carahouse, they're kind of a team, you never know what you're going to get on this defensive side of the map, and I like this call here, waiting to see if there might be an early push, because as we've seen from the Vietnamese teams, those can come pretty often.
It's true. A very slow start, actually, from Pacific Macta, but I think that's in response to the early util usage from Carahouse. You could see that they sort of set up a wall of smokes across the map, more or less, and kind of cut the map in half, and now as those smokes do start to fade, Pacific Macta going to send ZYK to go for a bit of an expedition.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad idea on a map like this, especially in some of the early rounds. You're playing on GR. You pick the map, so of course your opponent is going to pick Blacklist, so you kind of have to delay them, wait as much as possible, try to buy a lot of time. Don't mind it, just trying to, you know, take any momentum right from the get-go out of PM's favor. Although the 4 of them are waiting here on the road, just looking to potentially go down the stairs, as we do have Aldrin looking to group up now. All 5 of them looking to potentially go for it.
Here comes the execution here. Justin, though, going to eat a flash and actually back off here. You can tell Pacific, they had the setup ready to go, but that counter flash stalls them out perfectly, and now they kind of have to full reset here, and now they're slowly creeping back into sight. Lucas is still alone here. He's got one player above for that late support, but this smoke wall is going to cause some trouble, but it's actually Revenge on the opposite side of the map who takes down Rambo. MVA finds the entry onto Lucas, and just like that, Pacific, they've got full control of this bomb site.
Yeah, not looking good for Carahouse on the first round. The slow progression from Pacific Macta catching them off guard. Shady, at the very least, has been able to deal with Revenge on the backside, but going down these stairs and entry fragging against 2 players tucked in the corner is definitely not going to be an easy task. I think that will ultimately have to come down to a trade. Shady actually going to be the second man in JRK to try to find the opener, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just such a difficult angle to win a duel into, and the numbers advantage well and truly in effect for Pacific Macta now. 1 on 4 for Shady. He doesn't have time anyway.
Yeah, it just comes down to that really strong push they had. The first pick off from Revenge, and then you've got 4 people just charging down the stairs, and unfortunately they were not able to stop the initial part of that push. And once you get set up there on a bottom, can be pretty strong to stop any retakes. Here comes Dola into the control room. He's going to get the spray down, picks up 2, and does go down, but that is a lot of value there from the GR side. This is what I was talking about. You got to get pretty active here if you want to get ahead of some of the aggression of the Blacklist side.
Shady's stuck. He needs a bit of help. Stuck behind the box, and they're well aware of it. So the artillery barrage is going to head in his direction. A nade chunks him down to about half, but he does get out in the end. So good start for Carahouse. Impressive stuff from Dola. Standout player in Vietnam, of course. And if he can bring that kind of aggression to the table on more than one occasion, then it's going to put Carahouse in solid positions for sure.
What an angle here, Revenge. He almost had a chance at it. Unfortunately, no connection there. They need to find something, though, to work with in this round. It's a 3-on-4, and they are slowly grouping up towards the A bomb site. They've got to deal with Lucas here, holding on to the upper control room. It's going to be a spot from Revenge to take him down. This completely opens up this bomb site. Almost has a chance at the second there, but Rambo able to secure that late trade onto him. Still a 3-on-2, but Rambo gets a second onto Aldrin, who kind of whiffed that spray down there, and now Justin is left alone.
Yeah, C4 is going to be dropped in an awkward spot as well. Justin is going to be corralled in that direction at some point, though he's going for a bit of a journey down to A. Not going to see too much there. 3-on-1 definitely winnable with the time available.
JRK is looking right at this angle, or at least he was. Justin is coming all the way around. JRK has no idea. That's a free kill. 40 seconds. And, I mean, the rest of the team, the other two guys, are just going to wait around the bomb. I mean, there's no real reason to not do that. Although Justin is now taking a very long route around. They might not expect this. The two of them are grouped up looking towards the computers. But Justin's just kind of sneaking around. He's still got 20 seconds. The two of them are a bit low. And he might just be able to pick this one up. Let's see if he can go for the 1v2. Shady going to peek him and gets the quick headshot. And Carahouse are on the board.
Again, that's one of those individualistic peaks that does concern me a little bit for Carahouse, right? You're in a 2v1. Yes, it's a favorable duel, but what happens if you lose that duel? Now it's a 1v1. He's going to be able to just walk into the site, plant the bomb, and play the post plant out. And that's where the 1v3 actually starts to fall apart for Carahouse. So it doesn't cost them in this instance. Dollar's going to try to get aggressive again, and Shady also in the same position. Pacific Macta. Ooh, how's he done that? Double headshot comes through from Shady on the backside. That looked like it was going to go all wrong. But in the end, a bit of individual brilliance from Carahouse.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he got away with that second shot, but they'll definitely take it here. Now they've got the 3-on-2 Revenge and ZYK. They've got the bomb control still in the BL spawn, but they've got to find a pick to work with here. Lucas still hanging out on the lower A bomb site. Revenge just checking that pyramid stack as usual, trying to find someone on the other side of it. Lucas gets the spot, falls off, calls for that support from the upper bomb site, but ZYK steals that kill from the vents, and now they've evened the score.
Yeah, definitely some pretty slick angles that both of these teams have found. Even Shady just sneaking in there and getting a double headshot in the control room, and that time around just moving through the vents, getting the one guy that was already spotted by his teammate was ZYK. Now the two of them have grouped up, and it looks like they want to push into B. There's not a lot of coverage here from the side of Carahouse. They do have one guy in AC and a big flank coming in from Rambo. Let's see the timing of this, if he can get in behind them on time.
He's definitely got the spot here. If he makes one bit of noise, though, it could fall apart. He's going to spot ZYK first. Doesn't know Revenge is on the lower bomb side as well just yet, but he's got the patient, finds the first. It's going to be Rambo. Now looking for that second player, but Revenge actually snuck over to the lockers. He's got a good angle to try and take these fights one at a time, but JRK stalls pretty well. There's only 30 seconds. Revenge, he's got to make his move here. Rambo just playing that corner pocket is going to make it so difficult to go untraded. Revenge, he had a chance to make it happen, but just not quite enough to get it done.
That's a good setup, though, from Carahouse. Got to give him credit, right? I was a little bit critical of them in the previous round, not playing out the 2v1 correctly, sort of taking individualistic 1v1s. In this case, they recognize the circumstances. They play the 2-on-1, good tradable setup, and in the end, get themselves another round on the board. So 2-1 lead at the moment for Carahouse. And Pacific Macta, I mean, look, they're making this close. A lot of these rounds have been really tight, but Carahouse still holding on.
Yeah, I feel like the first round was pretty one-sided, right? Pacific Macta got down there and they were able to hold on very nicely. But since then, it has been pretty close, although Carahouse was getting ahead of the play more often than not. Also, Carahouse, a couple of times in a row, getting into that control room and just getting a bunch of advantageous trades, you know, 2-for-1 or 3-for-2 in some cases. And so this time around, it is just going to be an even 5v5, although it does look like Pacific are just going to run straight into the stack that Carahouse have here in the lockers. Although they do jump out and they take it 2-for-2 as they do clear out the lockers, but it's still an even game.
Yeah, I think that Carahouse is sort of, in a way, forcing the hand of Pacific Macta a little bit here in the control room with the aggressive plays that they put in a couple of rounds in a row. Pacific Macta can't afford not to dedicate some of their forces in that direction at the start of the round. Otherwise, they know Carahouse is going to take that part of the map. But again, this is the way that the game has been flowing. A little bit of an explosion at the start of the round, and then things slowed down a little bit. Shady going to try to misc through the smoke and will be punished by MVA for that. Now there's no defense over toward the B site, and this is looking like a good opportunity for Pacific Macta to get in with another round. Especially if Lucas is just caught unawares watching mid.
Yeah, that was kind of strange. I'm not sure. I mean, the one guy gets picked off at lockers. There's not too much time. You got to expect that they might be pushing into B, but he was looking behind him as Rambo Not going to hit that shot. And he has a lot on his shoulders if he wants to win this 1-1v3. Not a lot of time.
Seen some pretty crazy stuff from him in the past. But the time, I think, is really what's going to be the issue here. Obviously, the setup is also quite good from Pacific Macta. And in the end, Aldrin will ensure that it is locked down. So scoreline equalized one more time. It is a slow game, though, that both these teams are playing. I mean, I think in particular, you have to say that's the case really for Pacific Macta. They're the ones that have the onus of speeding these rounds up if they are to be sped up. It's a nice nade to kick things off for Carahouse. But yeah, really, a lot of these rounds just taking their time, that is for sure.
Ooh, Lucas, though, gets the headshot onto ZYK in the vent. That's a great shutdown to start off the round. But look at this right back there. It's going to be Revenge as well. Getting that trade onto Lucas. Now they've got a 4-on-4 to work with and can start to move in towards this A-bomb site. They're still kind of hanging out on long, not really going for anything too assertive other than Aldrin kind of poking his way through the midsection of the map here, maybe going for that late sneak into the vents himself to go back at it.
Just waiting on this one. I'm curious to see where PM will go with the bomb. I feel like they've had a lot of success going towards the B site, although they did take that first round on the A site. In recent rounds, looks like they have been favoring this side as all four of them that are alive are going to be pushing into this one. Dola looking to play point. He does have his buddy Shady here, the two of them having a day out so far. But Pacific Macta not committing to it just yet. Definitely a very slow and steady pace from them.
Yeah, again, that has been the case for this entire map so far. Pacific Macta trying to use all the time available to them, and Aldrin on the side, on the flank, is causing a bit of a problem for Shady, who has to watch multiple angles. He's doing a good job of that, though. Dola in to assist as well, but Shady with the 3K, stepping up in a big way in this round. C4's been dropped, Revenge solo. Another 1-on-2 attempt from Pacific Macta here.
Yeah, with how Shady's been playing, it's going to be a very difficult 1v2 to go up against, especially with only 20 HP to work with. Shady as well. Why not make it a fourth on the round? Gets it done, and he is off to a stellar performance already. 10 kills on the board in 5 rounds for the side of Carahouse, and if he can keep this up, it's going to be a difficult thing for Pacific to answer as we continue forward. He's always causing a lot of havoc on that B bomb site, but you can tell Pacific, it's not going to slow them down just yet. Already putting that early emphasis on getting that control room in their hands, and now they're just going to kind of wait and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely taking the time with their pushes, but I feel like it has been a bit straightforward from them. They haven't gone for a lot of rotations where, you know, you take one side of the map and then you rotate to the stairs, you look for a different side push. Just giving Carahouse some time, as now they're just going to flash and push out into A, and they're getting a lot of value with this one. Dolan JRK picks up a 3K as he leads the charge and just cleans them up. I mean, they didn't even wait for Pacific. They're like, we don't have time for this. We're just going to take the fight to you.
Yeah, I think the confidence is starting to build up a little bit for Carahouse. They were a little bit slow in those first, I want to say, 3-4 rounds. But as we've now started to get a little bit deeper into the half, you can see individuals stepping up, having their moments, and Carahouse throwing in a bit of good old-fashioned Vietnamese aggression that we have become accustomed to from the teams of that region. And now they're starting to get a bit louder as well. I think they're finding their feet in this series, which is bad news for Pacific Macta, because you can't really say the same for the Filipino squad.
Yeah, I feel like Pacific in their position, they need to be a little bit more assertive on their executions. Maybe go for a start of round attack on one of these sites to really try and shake this before it goes out of hand. But already Dola, again, sneaks into the B control room, takes down a player. Shady finds MVA as well. Rambo at least trades back. Actually, it's going to be CYK. Finds himself 2 in mid to equalize, but it's still tough. They've had so much issue dealing with Dola, getting aggressive early on, as well as Shady.
You got to be concerned at this point as well for Pacific Macta, because they just don't have any map control, and you can look at how ZYK is sort of peeking these angles. He's obviously concerned that there could be someone kind of anywhere, like even in control room. So it makes it very hard and restricting for Pacific Macta to work their way through the map. And first port of call is going to be to take control of control room again. Once they've done that, that gives them a little bit more freedom to start working elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, it's also been a long while since Pacific Macta have even looked at A. I mean, they were kind of hanging over there, and then they got absolutely rolled in the last round. So once you begin to kind of check the boxes on the GR side, especially on a map like this, it just makes it so much easier to defend. And, you know, this round, is pretty even at this point in time. Shady is going to land that one shot onto Revenge, but they get some good information, allows the two of them to stick over here on the B site and be ready for this push if it does come in. And I feel like Carahouse, you know, they got so much value. Even in the beginning of this round, they did get a little bit overstaying and, you know, over-aggressive after they got those first couple of frags, but I still feel like they're very much in control of the map and very much in control of the tempo. It feels like Pacific Macta are being a little bit predictable in terms of their pushes so far.
Yeah, this round may be a little bit different, though. They've kind of been undone by that push coming through from Shady. It's a really well-timed push, actually, and it's got the information for Carahouse that the rotation is coming through. That's why JRK and Lucas are so easily able to deal with that one. And again, like you said, it's a bit too one-dimensional from Pacific Macta in that round. Like, I don't think you're fooling anyone by taking control of lockers, throwing one smoke in onto the B bomb site, and then rotating across to the rest of the map. And not even maybe showing any presence into the B site, not leaving someone there to toss a flash or fire a couple of shots. They've literally just 3 players thrown one smoke, rotated to the other side of the map, and Carahouse have gone, well, we're going to push for info. They get the info, and they win the round.
Yeah, I feel like at this point they just need to go for a full fast A here. It's the trick they need. It worked in the first round, and hey, it works again here. MVA already finds 2, and this is definitely the weak point for Carahouse, is this A bomb site. Lucas hasn't had a whole lot of success from this position. A lot of it's been relying on Shady and Dola to open up the round, and now they're forced to go in for these retakes, but ZYK has the perfect position here. But you can tell they're ready for it. Dola sneaks behind, takes him down, and now they at least make it a 3-on-4 for the retake.
Well, they need to find Aldrin as well, and Dola isn't quite able to wrangle that kill. Still, Shady is putting in work at the moment, and he is just a man possessed. 14-3 right now. Might even make this retake possible, though Carahouse has to go fast. Another shot, this one from Rambo, and Justin is by the stairs. The C4 is planted for him, but he's been spotted out, and that is just not it. That is just not it from Pacific Macta. 2 rounds in a row. Carahouse get away with insanity, and Pacific Macta, I mean, they absolutely do need that timeout, because that was not good.
No, not at all. You really, really have to win those situations. I mean, they had everything they needed for a solid round on the board for Pacific, but now this just makes it a really, really tough game to recover, considering how far away that scoreline is from them now. And this could actually be a huge half if they can close it out with another win here on the side of Carahouse. So Pacific, they've got to dig deep here to make this one happen. The only downside for them is I feel like a lot of these rounds should actually be pretty winnable for them. There's been so many 1v1, 1v2 situations where it feels like they have an advantage, they've got something going for them, but it's just the firepower that these guys have on the side of Carahouse right now. You look at Dola and Shady and what they've been able to do so far, and I don't see anyone on Pacific stepping up to that level.
But isn't that Pacific Macta in a nutshell? Like, really, that's what I feel like I've seen from them for the last few years. It's like, yeah, they have these moments of brilliance, these flashes, and the individuals are able to contest, but whatever is happening on the macro strategy side of things is just not coming together. And they're being eclipsed by all of these fresher, newer teams that are coming onto the stage and just looking a little bit more potent, maybe, than Pacific Macta are.
Yeah, it doesn't help that when they kind of go for that strategy that we've been hoping for, where they kind of change the tempo, they get fast onto A, and MVA pits in a couple of those headshots and gets them in a really good spot, then they kind of just get shadied. You know, like it's...
I mean, that's true.
It's not a great feeling when it feels like, okay, finally we're going to mix with the tempo, and then we get this big advantage, and then they just can't close it out. And only 2 rounds here on the Blacklist side of Subbase. You can't be feeling good about that. I mean, the one thing you could say is that, of course, this was Carahouse's map pick. So maybe as Pacific Macta, you're like, okay, well, we're getting warmed up. We're not feeling great, but here comes ZYK. He's got a very aggressive angle as trying to bring in some of the spice from the last round and get some big value. He picks up a headshot as they do not clear out JRK, and Rambo is holding down the A site. And now this is, okay, nice little shot from Justin. Going to even things up.
Well, Lucas and Dola, the last two alive here for Carahouse, so no Shady to bail them out of trouble. Lucas has gone down as well now, which leaves just Dola, and maybe Pacific Macta can get a token third round at the back end of the half. Dola's given away his position as well with that spam into the smoke. Justin on an off angle, you'd think should be able to get this done. This is a nasty crossfire to try to break. And that will be the half. Carahouse should still be pleased with the 6-3 lead that they found themselves, but would have preferred a 7-2, I dare say.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a solid situation for them. Pacific, I think the only luxury they can have here in looking back is that a lot of these rounds, if they make some small adjustments, could have easily been theirs just as well. So I feel like going into this half, they still have a lot of potential to bring this back, and they're going to be playing really aggressive in this opening round. They've already got Justin and MVA taking control of that B control room already, and now you can see the response here. Carahouse trying to take that A bomb side from the top of A. It's going to be a one-for-one trade as Lucas and Aldrin go down.
This is what I like to see on sub base, where it's like, okay, they're charging into control room. Let's take advantage of that. Let's get aggressive elsewhere on the map. You can rotate so quickly on this one as now. They are coming in. Revenge is going to hold down the site for now, but he's being surrounded quite a bit. Shady coming in from behind, but still a bit of help coming in. ZYK from the top. Going to land a shot, and now it's all up to Rambo.
Yeah, Revenge getting two there is critical. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he still manages to make magic happen. Rambo fires off a shot into the smoke, but won't connect this time around. I think he has a fair bit of time here to play with, so he doesn't necessarily need to commit to the A bomb site, and I don't actually mind seeing him just try to go on a bit of a round the world tour, see if he can isolate a duel or two. Awkward angle to try to check, but I don't think you can really blame him necessarily. So first round on the board in the second half for Pacific Macta. They are on the more favorable side of the map now. So I'm not prepared to count my chickens before they hatch just yet.
Yeah, I think this is still going to be a really close game. Pacific as well is normally a team that's just in general stronger on their defense. They don't have a whole lot of strategy, I feel like, when it comes to finding entry frags on their BL side. But when it comes to locking down sites and rotating, they're a pretty strong team, and they've got that experience to feel really good when they're going in for a full retake or a full just nice little setup here on the 2-1-2. So we'll see if they can continue to hold things down so far. Revenge having a decent map for himself, I think, in the second half is going to be really key moving forward. He's got to continue to deal with Rambo, who's also been a little bit quiet here. Shady, though, if he can keep this up in the second half, he's the real threat they need to continue to be on fire for Carahouse to win this.
We have slowed it down. Carahouse, they went for that aggression over towards the A-bomb site, but they, the rotations came in on time. Revenge held his ground, and that kind of makes you feel like, okay, we can't just run at them and take a site for free, even if they have committed to one side. So some of that experience and some of that ability to handle the pressure, as you were mentioning, certainly giving some pause to the side of Carahouse, as we do see they are trying to push in through the lockers. Lucas making his way in. Revenge having the info, hits the shot. Rambo will trade one, though, as well, as Dola is going to get the jump on them, and the multi-pronged attack is kind of working out here for Carahouse. The sprays through the door, though, is going to go the way of PM.
Flash on to Aldrin. Doesn't seem to matter all that much. Pacific Macta are picking up a lot of these one-on-one duels, and Rambo, taking his time about things, has now got a very difficult task ahead in the 1v3, not to mention a flank coming in from behind as well, going to give him some trouble. That's a nice shot, though, and he's picked up the rifle. If he moves quickly, he still might be able to isolate the one-on-one against MVA, and that's where it starts to become doable, because the C4 would be retrievable there as well. This is the awkward spot, though, where he probably just gets collapsed upon from both sides. And oh, what a shot! MVA goes down as well. What? Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness. Only Rambo there could make that happen. Beautiful shot.
That was disgusting.
That last shot seemed almost impossible.
Crazy.
I mean, they'll definitely take it. Carahouse pulling off another clutch. First, you had Shady earlier in the map. Now Rambo stepping up, and if you're Pacific, you've got to feel a little bit distraught after these plays going against you keep happening time and time again. But still, Revenge gets the opening pick here in round number 12. It's still within reach for them. They've looked solid on this side of the map, but they've got to be ready for those clutch factors now every round.
Yeah, I mean, that was that's a game-breaking kind of play from Rambo, and immediately it does get shut down by Revenge, which is nice at the start of the next round. But yeah, Carahouse have got to be feeling pretty good about their chances. A couple of guys that are really showing up so far. Although Justin is going to try to hold down this area. Rambo picks up 2 more as he's just charging them down. He is going to get taken out right at the end there as he ran out of bullets in his M4. And Pacific Macta will at least get the round.
Yeah, I can't really expect him to do it back-to-back, you know? Someone else is going to have to step up. Where's Shady? What's Shady up to? I mean, Shady was the one in the first half that was going crazy. 7-5, scoreline still pretty tight, and Pacific Macta are definitely looking better in this second half. And there's a bit of aggression thrown in from them this time. ZYK for the opening kill. A few rounds in a row now where Pacific Macta have found the entry frag. Carahouse struggling to deal with that.
Some nice utility coming in, but Revenge still gets the opener before going down on the A-bomb side execution. Aldrin trying to get into position here. ZYK trying to spot them from above in those vents, but Carahouse still not yet planting this bomb, waiting for the utility to come down, trying to dodge as much as they can here, but they still have a tough position to hold on to. Pacific Macta, they've got the numbers. They're just kind of toying with them here from the top of sight.
I'm just trying to give Carahouse some pause for thought and maybe bleed a bit of that util out. Like, you can see the smokes have been thrown on in and a couple of flashes, couple of nades. So there's not a huge amount actually for the retake for Pacific Macta if Carahouse just wait. And even now they've kind of given Carahouse that impression that maybe they've rotated off. So 2 players went back over to B. They'll have to come back toward A now, costing a bit of extra time. I don't mind that patience from Carahouse.
It's going to be tough now, though, to still hold off this retake. Dola already down to half HP. You can see the 3-man stack coming all the way through, leaving ZYK on the flank. But these 3 players, they don't have a whole lot of ground to hold on to. 2 of them are just playing on the back of the staircase. Dola holding on to this ramp position, but Aldrin sneaks onto site, finds the first. ZYK finds a double kill to close it out, and Pacific have taken this down to a 1-round game.
It's pretty much anybody's map from here, especially since Pacific looks so much better from the GR side. This is a pretty interesting position. Carahouse, they get that plant, but then the retake is so clean that, you know, outside of some crazy clutch moments from individual players such as Shady and Rambo, Pacific Macta may be the more full team at this moment in time, although Shady was nearly able to take out Revenge, which would have been fantastic for them.
Yeah, the big issue for Carahouse is that they're losing the opening pick almost every single round. So that's the first thing that they've got to ensure gets cleaned up. And then the rest of things will get a lot easier as a result. It's a simple thing to fix. Try to take Revenge's impact out of the game. And this round, they have actually managed to keep 5 alive beyond the first 30 seconds of the round, which is a good start.
Yeah, they've got to find a way to break through here, though. Carahouse on the execution, not looking quite as clean as they would have hoped to here. Now they're just kind of waiting to see if they'll be gifted an early aim duel in one of these positions. But Pacific's playing this round pretty safe here. Just a 2-1-2 setup, playing a little bit more forward on that A staircase, but nothing too unusual from their end. I do like the kind of stall they're putting on them because they know they've looked a lot better in this second half. And Carahouse, for some reason, it seems like the post plans aren't looking too solid for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just slowing things down, trying to see if they can look for an eventual push here. Kind of reminding me of West when I watch some of these plays, where it takes 2 minutes to go for an aggression. But yeah, it does look like they will push over towards the A side at this point in time, but still split up. They have Rambo going vents, and they still have Shady trying to make some noise over in the lockers and maybe get a little bit of information about where the defense is. But I mean, there's two guys right here. There's MVA right below the stairs, and there was a guy just over in connector. As now the push comes in, they finally get rid of MVA, and the aggression works out. They make it down the stairs. 30 seconds left. They should be able to get this plant down for free.
It's a great setup as well. Rambo holding onto the vent room, and the fight happening still in control room is going to cost time for ZYK to come across, though Rambo has given up all of that space. It's a 3-on-3. This is a big one to win for Carahouse. If they let this one slip, then, well, Pacific Macta are really starting to run away with things a little bit in the second half, but time ticking away, and Pacific Macta have to make their retake happen shortly. They're smoked off on the stairs position. There's a flash toss in the face of ZYK. It'll slow him down, but Revenge and Aldrin, they're already committed. They're trying to go forward. Revenge has got himself one. Lucas from the backside just gets stabbed in the back. And there's nothing even on that post plant for Carahouse, but have they got the defuse? Yes, just.
There's a tricky plant spot there. It's not a normal one, and they almost lost it just trying to find the bomb for a moment there. I would have felt bad for them if they couldn't find it in time, but thankfully they get it done, and now it's all tied up here. Carahouse still only having that one round they've found in the second half. Shady went from 15 kills in the first half to pretty quiet in the second half, but Dola still causing havoc here in the B control room. Takes down ZYK right away. You can see Justin here wants to try and find a way to answer back, but smartly so, Carahouse, they're going to back off and start putting that attention towards A.
Well, you got that player advantage for the first time pretty much ever for Carahouse in this second half. So how are they going to use it? Will it once again be another very slow round? It does seem that that is going to be the case. They're expecting some aggression out from Pacific Macta, and they're more than happy to just stay in the BL spawn. Just not doing anything.
Yeah. Well, we did see Pacific Macta doing something similar when they were feeling the pressure from the GR side on this map, but yeah, just going to take their time. They're going to use the clock as much as they possibly can. They do have that advantage, and I think they've really, as you mentioned before, kind of haven't had this advantage many times in the round, so enjoying it while it lasts and trying to concoct some sort of plan here as to where they're going to go. For now, it's just kind of hanging around control room and outside of the hallway, but still trying to get some more information. There's actually nobody on A for the side of Pacific Macta, so they could quite literally just walk on down. And that's a good call, I think. Pacific Macta have been doing retakes on A so cleanly.
Yep.
So they're like, what if we just hold B and then we go for retakes on A if they actually do go to A, which is free, but Pacific, you know, they could just take the win either way with retake.
Might actually work out for them because it does look like Carahouse is coming toward B. The first shots seeming to favor Pacific Macta here. Overall, a 2-for-1 trade is going to be enough to bring it back to an even numbers scenario. Aldrin is quite low, and Rambo's on the flank, which will be a problem. He'll be able to cut off that rotation. Pacific Macta now have to get back to that A bomb site. Rambo only good for one, though. And now time becoming a bit of a factor. C4 still in the blacklist spawn. 20 seconds left on the clock. Shady trying to walk his way in through the vent. They will get down onto the site just in time, but Revenge could cause trouble. Won't spot the bomb on the cross. Justin might deny the bomb plant. Has done so. It's the round over. Oh, Carahouse. What has happened there?
Yeah, such a tough one. They gave that opening for the sneak attack, and Pacific again just finding ways to capitalize right when they need to. Carahouse, though, still in this half with just that one round. It makes you wonder if this could actually be over for them on this first map. And, you know, this was their map pick. I'm very surprised to see them struggle completely in the second half.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I think Pacific have just really showed up here, and Carahouse have not dealt with it very well. Now they're just pouring into the computers, but they're just being lined up and shot down 4 against 3 in favor of PM. And Revenge just holding on to A if necessary. He knows there's probably a bunch of guys up top, which there are. There's also another guy from Carahouse trying to move down the stairs as we speak, but Pacific Macta are in position to stop this push. I mean, look at this angle from ZYK. Well, he was holding it. Now he's not really. It's up to Revenge, who gets 2 pistol kills and is holding down the A side by himself. And now it's just Rambo. He did something crazy before, but Kind of feels like the wind is taken out of their sails. Revenge still alive, and he's going to get yet another kill to hold down the A site alone.
Revenge has been an absolute rock on the A site, playing behind that missile. Seems to never miss with the Orm. And the sidearm getting the job done as well. So, I mean, it's definitely Pacific Macta's map to lose now. Carahouse going to be a bit disappointed by the proceedings. Wonder if this is a tag timeout. It is, yeah. Again, feels like a little bit too late for Carahouse. Could have called it at any point during that second half. Why now? Why now when it's 9 rounds? Like, why not give yourself at least a couple of rounds buffer?
Yeah, they definitely could have used this a little bit sooner, but I also just don't think they were expecting to continuously lose those rounds back to back to back in the way they did. I thought at some point they were going to win one of those, but every time they had any sort of an advantage, it was either Revenge or Aldrin helping swing in and take it right back for Pacific, who have looked astronomically better in the second half. The first half, I wasn't so sure what their strategies were. It seemed like they weren't really fully put together in the same way they are on this GR side of the map, and this is where I think Pacific has a lot of strength as a team. They are one of the better GR teams, I would say, in this entire event. It's just their BL side's very, very shaky, but this is a good chance for them to close it out on their opponent's map pick, and if they can do that, they have a real shot at taking this one themselves as a 2-0.
Yeah, like I said, I think Black Widow is a bit of a antsy one. It's definitely up in the air. Only reason that Carahouse was able to get over the line on Black Widow in Vietnam against Pacific Macta was a couple of big individual clutch moments, and I felt like a little bit of a disappointing final couple of rounds from Pacific Macta. So that one, jury's out. Jury's definitely out.
And a lot of discussion during this timeout. Can only imagine. How do you discuss this where it's like, okay, you've got a nice aggressive play, you get in onto the A site, kind of, and then you're stopped essentially by Revenge. Even ZYK, who looked to be in a good spot, kind of dropped the ball and wasn't able to help out Revenge, and he had to just do it all himself, which was just fine by him, I suppose. As they got the win, and Pacific Macta, they've got a couple of rounds now to close it out. And based on the fact that they've only lost one in the last 7 or so rounds, got to be feeling pretty confident for them. Let's see if this timeout actually helps out Carahouse as they look to go for a kind of similar setup here. 3 guys looking to push in to the computers.
Yeah, a lot of aggression here from Carahouse on the upper A bomb site, but Revenge finds 2 already from the back of the B bomb site. He's still looking for more, but Shady and Dola find the answers they need after the pause, and Justin and MVA, they're left to try and clean this one up. It's a pretty solid angle, though.
Yeah, Justin might be able to catch someone when they pick the C4 up. I think that's what he was spamming for. Didn't quite manage to get the timing right. And now that they're stuck behind the smoke, they're going to have to find an alternative route toward the B bomb site. Could have been a hugely different round had Revenge just hit that 3rd shot as well. But a bit too much to ask. So Pacific Macta tasked with a 2-on-3 retake. Justin and MVA. They have a chance of securing the map right here, but time has been ticking away already. Down below half of that C4 bomb timer. MVA spots one out. Pre-fire around the corner from Justin, but it's not enough. Carahouse will survive.
Now it's going to come down to the final round here in regulation to decide it. Carahouse, they win coming out of their pause, but will they have enough to take 2 in a row after only just securing their 2nd round in this second half of regulation? So they've definitely found a decent momentum shift on their end, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough here. Pacific going back to a little bit more of a safe approach. They've got 2 players now on that upper A bomb site position if that push comes through, but this time it's going to be a full A collapse, and there's only MVA to hold this off down low.
Yeah, I think this has been a sticking point. Maybe they suspect Pacific Macta will not expect this kind of push to come in, but now it has been spotted. A couple of guys here for Pacific Macta trying to spray through the smoke. They get one, but Rambo is just going Rambo on the site. MVA has snuck around the left side of the missile and is just cleaning them up, and that's going to do it. Pacific Macta will close it out 10-8.